Hey guys, tonight we begin with something a little slower. A journey not through conquest or catastrophe, but through the gentle, unrelenting rhythm of survival. We're stepping into a world blanketed in silence, where time moves differently, where every breath is visible, and where being alive is its own quiet triumph. Tonight, we're not asking you to stay awake. We're inviting you to drift, to let go, to sink into the cold, patient stillness of the last ice age. So before you settle in, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're not waking up to an alarm. You're not waking up to sunlight streaming through a window. You're waking up to cold, deep, patient, ancient cold. The kind that's been here longer than memory, the kind that will be here long after you're gone. And in this frozen world, in this vast expanse of ice and snow and silence, you are small, anonymous, alive. And that, tonight, is all that matters. The cold comes first, before light, before thought. Before you even open your eyes, you feel it. The cold pressing against your face, your nose, the exposed skin at the edge of the hide that covers you. It's always there, patient, waiting. You don't move yet. Not because you're not awake, you are. Your body knows dawn before your mind does. But moving means letting the warmth escape, the small pocket of heat you've built beneath the layered skins during the night. So you lie still, breathing slowly, feeling the weight of fur against your chest, listening. The wind has stopped. That's good. Wind is dangerous. It steals heat. It hides sounds. It makes the world uncertain. But this morning, the air is still, silent. The kind of silence that means the snow has stopped falling. The kind of silence that means the sky might be clear. You breathe in through your nose. The air is sharp. It stings slightly, the way cold air does when it's been sitting undisturbed through the long night. You can taste it, clean, empty. The smell of nothing, which is the smell of deep winter. Slowly, carefully, you shift. The hides crackle faintly. Frost has formed on the outer layer during the night, tiny crystals of ice clinging to the fur. You can hear them breaking as you move, small sounds, delicate, like the world is made of glass. You open your eyes. Darkness, but not complete darkness. Never complete darkness. There's always some light, even in the deepest part of night. It comes from the snow. The white expanse outside reflects the stars, the moon when it's present, even the faint glow of the sky before dawn. It seeps through the entrance of your shelter, a dim blue-gray luminescence. You can see your breath. Each exhale forms a small cloud, visible for just a moment before dissolving into the cold air. You watch it, once, twice, 3 times, the rhythm of breathing, in, out, in, out. It's comforting in a way, proof that you're alive, proof that your body is working, burning the small amount of fuel it has left from yesterday's meal. You sit up slowly. The hides fall away from your shoulders, and immediately the cold rushes in. It's shocking, even though you expected it, even though you felt it every morning for as long as you can remember. Your body tenses, instinctively trying to preserve warmth. Your muscles contract, your skin prickles. But you don't stop moving. Stopping would be worse. You're wearing your inner layer, fur against your skin, turned inward so the soft side touches you. It's old, worn, patched in places where it tore, but it's yours. It smells like smoke and sweat and the animal it came from, a smell so familiar you don't really notice it anymore. Over that, you'll add more layers, but first, the fire. The fire is nearly dead.
You knew it would be. You banked it carefully before sleeping, covering the coals with ash to slow the burn, to keep a small ember alive through the night. But fire is hungry. It wants to consume, and even banked, it dwindles. You move toward it, crawling on hands and knees. The ground is hard, frozen earth covered with a thin layer of old hides and dried grass, insulation against the cold that seeps up from below. Your hands are cold, your fingers stiff. You flex them as you move, trying to wake them up. The fire pit is a shallow depression, ringed with stones. The stones hold heat, radiating it back slowly, helping the fire last longer. You've chosen them carefully over time, avoiding the ones that crack or explode when heated. Good stones are valuable as good fur. You brush away the ash gently. Your movements are slow, deliberate. There's no rush. Rushing wastes energy. Rushing makes mistakes. And mistakes, here, in the cold, can mean death. Beneath the ash, a faint glow, red, orange. A coal still alive, buried deep, waiting. You breathe out slowly, a long, controlled exhale. Relief. The fire survived the night. Now you need to wake it. You reach for kindling, small, dry twigs collected days ago and stored inside the shelter where they'll stay dry. You've learned that damp wood is nearly useless. It smokes and smolders but doesn't catch. Dry wood is essential. You gather it whenever you find it, breaking dead branches from trees, collecting fallen twigs before they get buried in snow. You place the smallest pieces on the coal. Not too much, not yet. Just a few wisps of dried grass, a single thin twig. You lean down, close, and blow gently. The coal brightens.
The grass begins to smoke, a thin white curl rising. You blow again, steady, patient. The smoke thickens, and then a tiny flame, small, fragile, but alive. You add another twig, then another. The flame grows, spreading, consuming the wood with quiet hunger. You feed it slowly, carefully, building it up from almost nothing. This is the ritual of mourning. This is how every day begins, with fire, with warmth, with the fundamental act of not letting the cold win. The light from the fire fills the shelter. It's a small space, barely large enough for you to lie down, walled with branches and packed snow, covered with hides stretched over a framework of wood. It's not permanent. Nothing is permanent, but it's solid enough to block the wind, to trap heat, to create a small pocket of survival in the vast frozen world outside. You sit back on your heels, watching the fire. It crackles softly. The sound is comforting, familiar. The flames dance, casting moving shadows on the walls. Orange light flickers across the hides, across your hands, across the few possessions you keep near. A spear, a scraper, a leather pouch containing dried meat. You're not warm yet, but you will be. You add larger wood now, pieces you've split with a stone axe, wood that will burn longer, hotter. The fire accepts them, flames wrapping around the new fuel, pulling it in. You can feel the heat beginning to radiate outward. It touches your face first, your hands, then slowly, gradually, your body begins to thaw.
You flex your fingers again. They're starting to respond better, the stiffness easing. Outside, the light is changing. Dawn is coming, but slowly, so slowly. In winter, dawn takes its time. The sun seems reluctant, as if it too feels the cold and hesitates to rise. You wait. There's no reason to rush. The world outside is frozen. The animals are hidden or far away. The plants are buried under snow. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do immediately. Survival here is about patience, about waiting, about conserving energy and choosing your moments. So you sit by the fire and wait for the light. You listen. Listening is important. It's one of the ways you know the world. In the silence, there are always sounds, if you're patient enough to hear them. The fire crackling, your own breathing, and beyond that, beyond the shelter, the sounds of the frozen world. The wind, even though it's still now, has left its mark. You can hear it in the way the trees creak occasionally, adjusting, settling after being pushed all night. The sound is distant, soft, like the groan of something very old and very tired. Sometimes you hear snow falling from branches, a soft whump as it drops, landing on the snow below. It's a gentle sound, harmless, but you've learned to distinguish it from other sounds, from the sound of an animal moving, from the sound of snow sliding, which can mean danger. You hear nothing dangerous now, just the quiet, the deep, still quiet of morning. You add more wood to the fire and begin to prepare. Preparing is most of what you do. Preparing for hunting, preparing for cold, preparing for the possibility of finding nothing. Preparation is survival made tangible. It's the act of readiness repeated endlessly, because readiness is the only advantage you have. You reach for your outer furs. They're heavy, made from multiple hides stitched together with sinew, overlapping to block the wind. The fur is thick, long-haired, from animals that also lived in the cold and evolved to survive it.
You've worn these furs for seasons now. They're worn thin in places, especially at the elbows and knees, but they still work. They still keep the worst of the cold away. You pull them over your head, working your arms through the openings. The weight settles on your shoulders, familiar, almost comforting. Next, your feet. Your footwear is simpler than the furs, but just as important. Wrapped hides tied with sinew, layered for insulation. Dried grass stuffed between the layers. It's not perfect. Your feet still get cold, especially when you stand in one place too long. But it's enough. Enough to walk, enough to hunt. You wrap them carefully, making sure the sinew is tight. Loose wrapping means snow gets in. Snow means wet. Wet means cold, and cold in the feet can spread. You flex your toes inside the wrapping. They respond. Good. Now your hands. Mittens, not gloves. You learned long ago that keeping your fingers together keeps them warmer. The mittens are made from fur with the hair turned inward, lined with soft hide. You tuck them into your belt for now. You'll need your hands free for a while longer. You check your tools. The spear is leaning against the wall of the shelter. You reach for it, running your hand along the shaft. It's smooth, worn from use, made from a long, straight branch you found seasons ago. The wood is hard, strong. You've worked it carefully, removing the bark, smoothing the surface, balancing the weight. The point is stone. Gray flint napped into a sharp, leaf-shaped blade and lashed to the shaft with sinew and pitch. You made this point yourself, sitting by a fire much like this one, striking flakes from a larger stone until the shape emerged. It took time, many tries, but the result is sharp. Sharp enough to pierce hide. Sharp enough to kill if you can get close enough. You test the binding. It's still tight. The sinew hasn't frayed. The pitch hasn't cracked. Good. Next, your knife. It's smaller, a hand-sized piece of flint with a carefully napped edge. You carry it in a leather pouch at your waist. You pull it out now, checking the edge in the firelight. Still sharp. You've used it to skin animals, to cut meat, to shape wood and scrape hides. It's one of the most important things you own. You return it to the pouch. You have a few other items. A scraper for cleaning hides. A small bone needle for stitching. A pouch containing tinder, dry grass and bark that catches fire easily. Another pouch with a few pieces of dried meat, hard and leathery, but edible. Not much, but enough for today. Everything you own, you can carry, because everything you own, you might need to carry. Permanence is a luxury that doesn't exist here. You move when you need to. You stay when you can. But you're always ready to leave. You're almost ready now. The fire has burned down to a steady glow. You add a few more pieces of wood, enough to keep it alive while you're gone, but not so much that it burns wastefully. You cover it lightly with ash, banking it again, giving it the best chance to survive until you return. If you return. You don't think about that. Thinking about it doesn't help. You've learned to focus on what you can control. Your tools, your preparation, your movements. The rest is just the world, indifferent and vast. You pick up your spear. The firelight flickers one last time across the shelter, across the hides, across the few marks you've made on the wall, scratches in the frozen earth, lines and dots that mean something to you. A count of days, maybe, or something else, something personal. You turn toward the entrance. The cold is waiting. You step outside. The world is white. Not the bright, harsh white of midday sun on fresh snow, but the soft, diffuse white of early dawn. The sky is pale, a gradient from deep blue at the edges to lighter blue-gray above. The stars are fading, retreating as the light grows. The snow stretches in every direction, endless, flat in some places, rolling in others, marked by the dark shapes of trees and rocks. It's deep, so deep that walking is difficult, each step sinking, each movement requiring effort. But the snow has a crust now, from the cold, from the wind. It's hard enough in places to support your weight, at least partially. You've learned to test each step, to distribute your weight, to feel whether the crust will hold or break. You stand still for a moment, just breathing. The air is so cold it hurts. Your nostrils sting, your lungs tighten, but you breathe through it, slowly, letting your body adjust. The world is silent, deeply, profoundly silent. No birds, no insects, no distant sounds of running water, just the vast, empty quiet of winter. It's a silence you can feel, a presence almost, as if the cold itself has weight and substance. You look around, orienting yourself. The sun isn't up yet, but you know where it will rise. You've watched it enough times to know the direction. You turn to face it, east, where the sky is just beginning to lighten. That's the direction you'll go. Not because of the sun, but because you saw tracks yesterday, heading that way. Tracks of something large, something worth following. You begin to walk. Each step is careful, deliberate. You plant your foot, test the snow, then shift your weight. The crust holds. You take another step. It breaks slightly, your foot sinking a few inches, but not deep. You pull your foot free and step again. Walking in snow is slow, exhausting. It takes energy, more energy than walking on bare ground. But you've learned to pace yourself, to move steadily but not quickly, to conserve your strength. You carry your spear in one hand, using it occasionally for balance, planting it in the snow when the footing is uncertain. Your other hand is tucked inside your furs, keeping it warm. Around you, the landscape is still, frozen. The trees are dark silhouettes, bare branches etched against the pale sky. They're evergreens mostly, tough enough to survive, but even they look burdened, weighed down by snow. Some of the branches are bent low, almost touching the ground, heavy with accumulated ice and snow. Others have snapped, unable to bear the weight, their broken ends stark and pale. You walk past them, moving through the spaces between trees, following the natural paths the land offers. You're not looking for anything specific yet. You're just moving, covering ground, letting your eyes scan the snow for signs. And you wait. Waiting is part of hunting. Maybe the most important part. You can't force the world to give you what you need. You can only put yourself in places where what you need might be, and then wait, watch, listen, be patient. The light is growing now. Slowly, gradually, the sky brightens. The deep blue fades to lighter blue, then to pale blue-gray, then to something almost white at the horizon. You can see more clearly now the shapes of the land, the texture of the snow, the details. You pause and look around. This is a good place, a slight depression in the land, sheltered on one side by a rise, open on the other. Animals sometimes move through places like this. They follow the paths of least resistance, just like you do. Valleys, ridges, the edges of frozen streams. You look for tracks. It takes time. Tracks in snow aren't always obvious, especially if they're old or if new snow has partially filled them. But you've trained your eyes to see them, to notice the slight depressions, the shadows, the patterns that don't quite match the natural texture of the snow. And there, near a cluster of low bushes, you see them. Tracks. You move closer, slowly, careful not to disturb them. You kneel, leaning on your spear for balance, and examine them. They're large, deep, four-toed, with blunt claw marks. The edges are slightly rounded, softened by wind and time, but still clear enough to read. A bear. No, not a bear. Something else. The shape is wrong. Too elongated. The spacing too wide. A bison, maybe. Or something similar. Something large and heavy, moving alone or with a small group. You feel a slight quickening in your chest. Not excitement exactly. More like focus, possibility. This is what you were hoping to find. These tracks are fresh enough to follow, old enough that the animal has moved on, so you're not in immediate danger, but fresh enough that it might still be within a day's travel. You stand slowly, looking in the direction the tracks lead, north, deeper into the valley, toward a place where you know there are more trees, more shelter, a place where a large animal might stop to rest or forage. You begin to follow. Following tracks is a kind of conversation. The animal speaks through its movements, and you listen, trying to understand where it was going, how fast it was moving, whether it was calm or alert, whether it was alone. These tracks are steady, even. The animal was walking, not running. That's good. Running means it was spooked, which means something else might have been hunting it. But walking means it was calm, moving with purpose, but not fear. You follow at a distance, not stepping directly in the tracks, but near them, keeping them in sight. You move slowly, stopping often to look around, to listen, to make sure you're not walking into danger. The sun is rising now. You can't see it yet, not directly. The sky is too bright to look at, but you can see its light, spreading across the snow, turning the white landscape faintly gold, casting long shadows from the trees. The world is waking up, slowly, quietly, but waking. You walk, and walk, and walk. Time passes, but you don't measure it in the way you might measure the hours of work or the minutes of waiting. You measure it in distance covered, in landmarks passed, in the movement of shadows. The tracks lead you through a sparse forest, the trees spaced wide, their trunks dark against the snow. You move between them, silent, your breath forming small clouds that dissipate quickly in the cold air. You're tired now, not exhausted, but tired. Your legs ache slightly from the constant effort of pushing through snow. Your shoulders are tense from carrying the weight of your furs and your spear. But you don't stop. Stopping means losing time, losing distance, and distance here is everything. You crest a small rise and pause. Below you, the land opens up, a wide, flat expanse, a frozen meadow, maybe, or a lake. It's hard to tell under all the snow. And on the far side, near a cluster of rocks and trees, you see movement. Your heart slows, your breathing quiets. You sink down slightly, lowering your profile, making yourself smaller. There, in the distance, almost at the edge of your vision, something dark against the white, large, moving slowly. The animal. You watch it for a long moment, not moving, barely breathing. It's far, too far to do anything now, but it's there, real, possible. You sink down into a crouch, settling into the snow, and you wait. This is the moment you've been moving toward all morning. Not the kill, not even the hunt, just this, the watching, the waiting. The moment of being near something alive, something wild, something that doesn't know you exist. You watch the dark shape move slowly across the snow. It pauses, lowers its head, feeding maybe, or just resting. You can't tell from here. The distance between you is vast, hundreds of paces, maybe more. Too far for your spear, too far to approach without being seen, so you wait. You've done this before, waited for hours, sometimes days for the right moment. The moment when the animal moves closer, or when the wind shifts in your favor, or when something changes that gives you an advantage. Patience is the hunter's greatest tool. Not strength, not speed. Patience. You settle into the snow, sitting back on your heels, your spear across your lap. You pull your hands inside your furs, tucking them under your arms for warmth. You watch the animal, and you breathe. In, out, in, out. The cold surrounds you, presses against you, but you're still, calm, waiting. The sun climbs higher, The light changes, becoming brighter, harsher. The snow sparkles where the sun touches it. Tiny crystals of ice reflecting light. It's beautiful in a way. Harsh and cold and indifferent, but beautiful. The animal moves again, slowly. It's grazing, you think, moving from spot to spot, digging through the snow with its hooves or snout, searching for buried plants, frozen grass, anything edible. It's alone. That's good. A lone animal is easier than a herd. No others to warn it. No others to protect it. Just one animal, focused on feeding, unaware. But it's still far. You wait. Time stretches. Minutes become indistinct. You're cold now, even with your furs. The cold seeps in when you're still, finding the gaps, the places where your body heat can escape. Your fingers are stiff, your toes numb, but you don't move. Moving would disturb the snow, would create sound, would draw attention. So you sit and watch and wait. The animal turns. It's moving parallel to you now, slowly working its way along the edge of the meadow. It's still far, but the distance is closing, not quickly, but closing. You breathe slowly, steadily. Your breath forms small clouds, but they dissipate quickly, invisible. The animal pauses again, raises its head, alert. You freeze, completely still, not even breathing. Did it sense something? Did the wind shift? You can't tell. The animal stands motionless, head up, ears forward if it has ears. You can't see from here. It's listening, testing the air. You don't move. You're part of the landscape now. Just another rock, another shadow. Nothing threatening, nothing worth noticing. The animal lowers its head again, resumes feeding. You breathe out slowly, silently. Time passes. The sun is high now, midday or close to it. The light is bright, almost blinding on the snow. You squint, keeping your eyes on the animal, watching. It's closer now, still far, but closer. Maybe half the distance it was before. Still too far for your spear, but closer. You calculate. If it continues moving in this direction, it will pass within range. Maybe. Or it might turn, or stop, or sense you and flee. There are so many possibilities, so many ways this could fail. But you wait. The animal moves again, closer. You can see it more clearly now. Large, yes, thick fur, 4 legs. Something like a bison, but different. The shape isn't quite right. Maybe a musk ox, or something else, something you don't have a name for. It doesn't matter what it's called. What matters is whether you can get close enough. It's feeding steadily, moving slowly toward you, unaware. The wind is in your favor, blowing from the animal toward you, carrying its scent, but not yours. This is the moment. This is when you move, but slowly, so slowly. You shift your weight carefully, testing the snow beneath you. It holds. You move 1 foot forward, just a few inches, settling it gently into the snow. You pause. The animal doesn't react. You move the other foot. This is how you hunt. Not with running, not with chasing, but with this. Slow, patient, invisible movement. Closing the distance inch by inch, step by step. You move again. The snow crunches softly under your weight, but the sound is faint, absorbed by the vast silence around you. The animal continues feeding, its attention on the ground, on finding food. You move again and again. You're standing now, but crouched low, your body bent, your spear held ready. Each step is careful, each movement tested. You're still far, but closer, closer than before. The animal raises its head. You freeze. It's looking in your direction, not directly at you, but close. It senses something, a movement, a sound, a change in the air. You don't breathe, don't move, don't exist. The animal watches. Its body is tense, alert. One more wrong move and it will run. And if it runs, it's over. You'll never catch it. The snow is too deep, the animal too fast. So you wait, again, still, silent.
The animal lowers its head, slowly. It's still alert, but it's feeding again. Whatever it sensed, it decided it wasn't a threat. You breathe, slowly, silently. You move again, 1 step, 2. The distance closes. You're within throwing range now. Maybe, if the throw is perfect, if the angle is right, if the wind doesn't shift. But you wait. Closer is better. Closer is surer. The animal is focused on the ground again, its head down, its body relaxed. You move again, closer. The snow crunches softly, but the animal doesn't react. You're close now, close enough. You stop, plant your feet, feel the balance, the weight of the spear, the direction of the wind, the position of the animal. Everything slows, your heartbeat, your breath. The world contracts to this single moment, this single throw. You lift the spear, slowly, bringing it back, your arm coiling, your body tensing. You aim, not at the animal, but at a point in space, a point where the animal will be when the spear arrives. You breathe in, hold, and throw.
The spear leaves your hand, silent, fast, a dark line against the white snow. It arcs through the air. The animal reacts, but too late. It lifts its head, begins to turn, but the spear is already there. Impact. The animal staggers. The spear has struck deep into its side, just behind the shoulder. A good hit, clean. But it doesn't fall. It runs. You expected this. Animals don't just fall when they're struck. They run, Instinct drives them to flee even when they're dying. They run until they can't anymore. You watch it go, crashing through the snow, leaving a trail. Dark spots appear in the snow behind it. Blood. Good. The more blood, the shorter the trail. You don't chase. Not yet. Chasing wastes energy. The animal will stop. It has to. The wound is deep. It will weaken. It will slow. It will stop. You wait, watching the trail, watching the animal disappear behind a rise. Then, slowly, you begin to follow. The trail is easy to track. The blood, the disturbed snow, the deep gouges where the animal's hooves dug in as it ran. You follow at a walk, steady but not fast, conserving energy.
You crest the rise and see it.
The animal is down, lying in the snow, its sides heaving, its breath coming in visible clouds. Your spear is still lodged in its side, the shaft sticking up at an angle. You approach slowly, carefully. Even wounded, an animal can be dangerous. A final surge of strength, a kick, a desperate attempt to fight. But this animal is done. It doesn't rise, doesn't struggle. It just lies there, breathing, its eyes wide, watching you approach. You stop a few paces away, close enough to see it clearly, far enough to be safe. You watch it breathe, once, twice, 3 times. Then it stops. The breath that was forming a cloud dissipates. The body goes still. The eyes remain open, staring at nothing. You wait, making sure. Sometimes animals seem dead but aren't. But this one doesn't move, doesn't breathe. It's done. You step forward and touch it with your foot. No response. It's dead. You feel something complex, not joy, not triumph, something quieter. Relief, maybe? Gratitude? Respect? This animal died so you could eat, so you could continue. That's not a small thing. You kneel beside it, placing your hand on its side. The fur is thick, warm still from the body heat. You can feel the life that was there moments ago, now gone. You pull your spear free. It comes out with resistance, the stone point slick with blood. You wipe it on the snow, cleaning it, then examine it. The point is intact, not chipped or broken. Good. You'll be able to use it again. Now comes the work. You pull your knife from its pouch, the small stone blade, sharp and ready. You'll need to butcher the animal here, at least partially. It's too large to carry whole. You'll take what you can, the best parts, and leave the rest for scavengers. But first, you need to make sure you're safe. You look around, scanning the horizon, the trees, the shadows. Predators are attracted to kills, to the smell of blood. You need to work quickly. You begin cutting, the hide first, making an incision along the belly, careful not to puncture the internal organs. The hide peels back, revealing the meat beneath, dark red, steaming slightly in the cold air. You work methodically, removing the organs, setting them aside. Some are useful, the liver, the heart, others less so, though they'll still feed something.
You cut chunks of meat, working the knife between muscle groups, separating flesh from bone. It's hard work. Your hands are slick with blood. The knife needs frequent cleaning, but you continue, focused, efficient. You take the best pieces, the backstrap, the haunches, meat that's dense, rich with fat. You pile them on a hide you've spread on the snow. The rest you leave, the bones, the lower organs, the less desirable cuts. It feels wasteful, but you can only carry so much, and what you leave won't go to waste. Other animals will find it, will feed. The circle continues. When you're done, you wrap the meat in the hide, binding it with sinew. It's heavy, very heavy, but manageable. You fashion a strap and sling it over your shoulder. You look at what remains, the carcass, mostly stripped, lying in the bloody snow, already cooling, already beginning the long process of returning to the earth. You stand for a moment, just looking, acknowledging. Then you turn and begin the long walk back. The journey home is slower than the journey out. You're carrying weight now. The meat pulls at your shoulder. Your legs are tired. The snow, which seemed merely difficult before, now feels almost impossible. But you walk, step by step, steady, pacing yourself.
The sun is beginning its descent now, sliding toward the horizon. The light changes, becoming warmer, softer. The shadows lengthen. You don't hurry. Hurrying will exhaust you, will make you careless. You walk at the same steady pace, the same careful steps, testing the snow, conserving energy. Your mind is quiet, not thinking about much, just the movement, the rhythm of walking, the weight on your shoulder, the cold air in your lungs. This is survival, not the kill, not the moment of the spear striking home, but this, the long walk back, the carrying, the enduring. You walk through the forest again, past the same trees, the same rocks. The world is the same, but you're different. You have food now, meat, enough for many days, maybe enough to share if there's anyone to share with. The light is fading when you finally see your shelter, a dark shape against the white snow, small, temporary, but yours. You approach slowly, checking, making sure nothing has disturbed it while you were gone. Sometimes other animals shelter in abandoned spaces, but everything looks undisturbed. You push through the entrance, dropping the bundle of meat just inside. The shelter is cold, the fire is out, just ash and cold stones.
You're too tired to care right now. You'll restart it soon. But first, you need to rest. Just for a moment. You sit heavily on your sleeping hides, the furs that make up your bed. You're still wearing your outer layers, still covered in blood and snow, but you're off your feet, and that's enough for now. You close your eyes, just for a moment, just to breathe. The cold is still there, always there, but you're inside, sheltered, and you have food, real food, enough to survive. You open your eyes after a moment. The shelter is dim. The light from outside is fading quickly. You need to restart the fire before it's fully dark. You move slowly, your body protesting. Every muscle is sore. Your shoulder aches from the weight of the meat. Your hands are stiff, cold, still slightly sticky with blood.
But you move because the fire is necessary, because warmth is necessary, because survival is a series of necessary actions performed even when you're exhausted. You begin the process again, clearing the ash, finding the coals, if any survived, adding kindling, breathing life back into the ember. It takes longer this time. Your hands are less steady. Your breath is weaker. But eventually, a small flame catches, grows, spreads. You add wood. The fire builds. Light and warmth fill the shelter once again. You sit back, watching the flames. Your body begins to relax slowly as the heat reaches you. Outside, night is falling. The last light fades from the sky. The world becomes dark, cold, silent. But inside, the fire burns, and you are alive, fed, sheltered. Tomorrow you'll wake and do it again. The same rituals, the same survival, the same patience. But tonight you rest. The fire crackles softly. Your eyes grow heavy. The warmth seeps into your bones. And slowly, quietly, you drift. Not into sleep, not quite yet, just into stillness, into the deep, quiet stillness of survival, into the rhythm of breath and warmth and the soft sound of fire, into another night, another moment of existence. In the Ice Age, in the cold, in the endless, patient endurance of being human.